You've probably seen the commercials by companies promising to wipe out your credit problems. Now, in a lawsuit, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is accusing two credit repair firms of using deceptive tactics and charging illegal fees. In his upcoming column in the LA Times, David Lazarus writes about the suit and how to fix your own credit for free. Hi, David. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Before we get into how to fix credit and the sort of shenanigans that this company is being accused, or two companies being accused of doing, tell us about our credit. Who's in charge of keeping track of it, and how do we have good credit?
A little Credit 101, huh?
A little Credit 101.
The keeper of the credit, in many cases, is a company called Fair Isaac, and these are the guys behind your FICO score. What is that? That's the yardstick by which creditors, lenders, department stores and whatnot, determine how creditworthy you are. In other words, how much interest they're going to charge you. Bottom line, if you've got a credit score in the 600s or below, not good, and you're going to be paying the highest interest rates. If you've got a credit score above 800, you are golden.
The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is supposed to be protecting consumers, right? But now they are pointing at two companies in particular who are saying to consumers, hey, we can fix your credit scores, even though you're saying, they really can't.
Yeah, we're talking about credit repair firms, and these guys basically have the pitch of, if you've got credit problems, if you've got a low credit score, we'll make those problems go away. Now, what the CFPB is doing is they're suing two companies, Lexington Law and CreditRepair.com. And as you said before, these companies are alleged to have used deceptive sales tactics and also to have charged fees. By law, no credit repair company can charge a fee up front. They can only charge you at the back end after they've actually accomplished something. Allegedly, that's not what these companies have been doing. Now, with credit repair firms, the idea here is, and what they're selling is, let's say you've got a 600 credit score. Those guys could imply, you leave it to us, you pay us some money, and we'll bring that credit score up by waving our wands and getting you into Gryffindor. That's not how it works.
Well, some of these companies, you say in your piece, are charging you, let's say $15 when you first sign up. Next thing you know, you're getting billed every month for $100+, and they'll keep charging you that until you actively go and get yourself off their rules, right?
Absolutely. And here's the thing that people need to understand is, yes, you can clean up your credit files. So let's say there's erroneous information in there. For instance, I've had my identity stolen, and I had debts in my credit file that I couldn't account for. That brought my credit score down. So then you have to contact the credit agencies, Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, and help to clean that up. That's okay. That's within the law. You can do that for free. What these credit repair companies do is imply that they can deal with bigger problems, such as a lot of debt, or a bankruptcy, or missing your payments. You can't. You can't make those problems go away. And any company that says they can do it, they are lying to you.
Now, the last few times you've been in here, you've been hammering on the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, saying that they're not doing enough. They're looking the other way. They're letting debt collectors harass us by text. Now you're saying they're stepping up and doing something. Do you think this is just a ploy to win public approval?
Like mixed messages from Laz there, huh? I talked to some experts because that's exactly the question I had is, why this, why now? Especially after the CFPB has given get-out-of-jail-free cards to payday lenders and debt collectors and others. And here's what I'm hearing from consumer advocates, and that is, when it comes to credit repair companies, these guys are bottom feeders. There's no downside for going after them. Maybe it's a PR move, but as one advocate said to me, it's not like they're going after Wells Fargo. No, they're going after these guys because there's no pushback from this industry.
So what are your tips for repairing your credit? I mean, there are a lot of people out there who know they need to do something, and, it sounds like a great idea to just pay somebody $15 and let them do it. But if you say that is not possible at all, what can they do? How can they take it into their own hands?
Yeah, and the important thing to remember is you can do it, and it's free. That's the main thing. What you want to do is go to a website called annualcreditreport.com. Watch out for things like freecreditreport.com. That's a racket. Annualcreditreport.com is where you can order free copies of your credit files from each of the credit agencies. You get the free files, you look at it, look for debts you don't recognize, look for creditors you don't recognize, look for anything that just doesn't seem to be accountable. Then you have to go through the process of contacting each credit agency in writing to try and clean that sort of thing up. Also, if you've got a bad credit score and you want to rebuild it and fix it. The way to do that is get a new credit card and pay your bills on time. It's really that simple. And it's a factor of time. As time passes and as you show yourself to be a good credit risk, more and more creditors will say, that's somebody I want to do business with, and they'll lower your interest rates.
And David, for people who are just starting out and building their own credit history, what's your advice? Should they have just one or two major cards like a Visa and American Express, or do you suggest getting lots of cards and building credit that way with, say, department stores and major credit cards?
That is a great question. In fact, I get asked that a lot. And my advice is do not have a lot of cards. The more cards you have, the more exposure you have to risk, which makes you look riskier. How much? 2 cards, 3 cards. You don't need more than that. Moreover, paying the cards off on a regular basis, that's the trick. Now, if you're going to carry a balance for a little bit, that's fine too. They like that. But don't miss your payments at all. And also, don't fall into the trap of making the minimum payment. That is an endless cycle of debt in which you'll keep falling further and further behind. And if you're young and you're just starting out, a credit card, a car loan, these are the ways you do it.
That is great advice. Thanks, David. David's column posts tomorrow on LATimes.com. And if you have a consumer concern or a question for David, you can ask Laz anytime. Email him at david.lazarus@LATimes.com or DM him on Twitter. His handle is @DavidLaz.